This news update is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Pure happiness will be connect to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
This is the Barbados Today morning news update for Monday, October 19. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. We begin with an update on the search for the missing St. Philip woman, Marcelle Smith. Smith has not been seen last Tuesday, and yesterday police reported that her car, a silver Toyota Yaris, was found on Chelston Park, Culloden Road in St. Michael. Police Public Relations Officer ASP David Welch says Smith is still unaccounted for, and he is appealing to anyone with information on her whereabouts to contact the nearest police station or Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, police have also launched a fresh appeal for help in finding the missing 18-year-old Emela John. John was reported missing last week Sunday. Police say she left home on Wednesday, October 7th, between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. and has not been seen since. Yesterday afternoon, her mother, Trudy Lawrence, led a search party in the Kingsland Park, Christchurch area where John recently moved to. Police also visited the house where she lived before she disappeared in the hope of finding information that could lead to her location. Lawrence says she has turned to social media sites to try to find her daughter, but so far her efforts have been in vain. She says she's unable to sleep as she is worried about the welfare of her asthmatic daughter. Emela John will turn 19 on November 16th. In other news this morning, the CEO of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, is reporting that agriculture production is on the rebound. Paul was addressing the Society's annual General Assembly over the weekend. He says figures for the dairy industry show that production has been higher for each month of the year than for the corresponding month last year.
Up to August 2015, production of milk was recorded at 2.5 million kilograms, and production at the end of this year, 2015, is expected to exceed the all-time low recorded for 2014 of 3.7 million kilograms. We used to do 6 million, 7 million. Projections indicate that the milk market is returning to normality, with demand expected to increase over the coming months, and it is expected that tourism arrivals will be one of the major factors driving demand. Farmers may therefore be forced to consider the importation of in-calf heifers in order to increase their milk production in the short term to meet consumer needs. The BS is already conducting a survey to determine those farmers who will be interested in the importation of in-calf heifers to be able to satisfy the expected increase in the amount of milk being demanded by consumers. Pork production is also showing signs of great vigor, with the slaughter figures being above those recorded for last year. Overall number of animals slaughtered are keeping pace with the number of animals slaughtered last year. That is true. However, the category of pigs have shown an overall increase.
And Prime Minister Frundle Stewart welcomed the news of increased production within the sector, and he reminded the BAS members that while agriculture may not be the preferred career choice for many young people, it is still important to the country's growth and development.
For as long, therefore, as we have people who are interested in ensuring that food is cultivated and planted in Barbados and that the land is cultivated for that purpose, for as long as we have people in this country who are committed to the rearing of livestock, to the pursuit of fishing, for our collective survival, agriculture will continue to be important. In all of the developed countries, so-called, at the heart of their development is a vibrant agricultural sector, which they guard very jealously and make sure that very often they, whenever they can, circumvent all the globally agreed upon rules to protect their agricultural sector. They impose on us rules which they insist that we observe, while they observe those same rules in the breach, because as far as they're concerned, agriculture is central to what they're doing.
Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Sir George Alleyne, is calling on the Cave Hill campus to get more involved in efforts to curb childhood obesity. Sir George made the appeal in his address to the campus's graduation ceremony at the Garfield Sobers Sports Complex on Saturday. He congratulated government for imposing an added tax on sweetened drinks, but he says finding a response to this health crisis is a job for the university.
This goes beyond the province of the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The university, in its role as a part of civil society, must join in presenting data which allow accountability for the commitments made in various fora for addressing this problem.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
In news from the region, Guyana is anticipating its first quantity of oil from the ExxonMobil project off the country's coast within the next 3 years. We get the details from Capital News.
Industry sources estimate 15 to 20,000 barrels per day from a single well. Back in May this year, the company announced a significant oil discovery approximately 120 miles offshore Guyana's coast. Upstream, the International Oil and Gas newspaper is reporting that ExxonMobil is pouring over engineering and design bids from floater contractors aiming to supply the U.S. company with a floating production, storage and offloading vessel for the fast-track development of its groundbreaking deepwater leaser project off Guyana. International sources said at least 5 players are battling to land a contract to lease a vessel of opportunity, as it is called in the industry, able to handle 60,000 barrels per day of crude or more, plus significant quantities of gas. ExxonMobil intends to drill at least 4 more wells on its 6.6 million acre Stabroek block. For each barrel of oil sold, Guyana is expected to receive a percentage of the oil in keeping with a production agreement with the U.S. company. A sovereign wealth fund will be established to manage the windfall from the oil sales.
On the international scene, the northern Philippines is being battered by the powerful typhoon Kopu. Several people are missing and thousands were forced to flee their homes. More in this report from the BBC.
In areas vulnerable to the most violent flooding, thousands have been helped to safety, and the authorities want more people out of harm's way as the typhoon advances.
We are strongly recommending this morning the forced evacuation in the Cordillera area, the landslide-prone, flood-prone areas.
Not everyone can be saved. In the capital, Manila, a family home was crushed by a falling tree. One person was killed and several, including a child, were injured.
We didn't expect that the tree would fall. My child was inside. I was outside. I saw the tree flatten my house and my family.
And the typhoon, pictured here by NASA a few days ago, isn't finished. It's become weaker, but still has massive potential.
And that's the news. There's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also, tune in to Channel 101 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I am Marcelle Williams. Good morning.